we are hired by essentially major corporations, either industry or in some cases political. We are needed by countries, small and large, that don't have this capability. They haven't developed it yet. Now, our teams were the ones that not only developed it, but activated it. I call them our dogs of war. Today, there's nothing fair anymore. You kill, or you get killed.
I first met General Rebell when I was in charge of a secret testing area for the United States Army Infantry Board at Fort Benning. Mitch Rebell came down with his people to bring up the sonic noise suppressor for a testing evaluation by the Army Infantry Board. At that time, we probably had a few sparks exchanged, as I've got Ukrainian heritage and he's got some Russian blood, and we both think we're hardcore guys. And I might add, I would have to say he's the hardest core, but he brought a silencer down to Fort Benning which far surpassed the United States Army ordnance development. What the Army turned out for its troops was really garbage compared to Mitch Rebell's sonic noise suppressor. And I became aware immediately that he knew weaponry, he was a professional, and when he spoke about weaponry and what it would do, everything he talked about came true with that silencer. It was and remains perhaps the world's finest noise suppressor. A short time after I arrived, Vietnamese Airborne, General Rebell arrived. And we bumped into each other when he came out of Vietnamese Airborne. We were the only combat unit, the American unit, in and around Saigon, and we had our camouflage fatigues and red berets, and essentially to get assignment to the Vietnamese Airborne was a real plum in your career. However, I must say that during this time, Mitch was the equivalent of a major general. He was given the equivalent rank of a major general in the United States Army. And I don't think anybody ever really knew what his true rank or station in life was. Mitch was a mysterious individual who enjoyed making the facts somewhat unknown. He conducted himself as if he was at least a 4-star, not a 2-star.
We operated in very unconventional manners. We activated new techniques and new philosophies. MAC means Military Assistance Command. SOG means Special Studies and Observations. The name MAC SOG has practically been eradicated from the history books.
Why?
Well, it was a highly classified operation. Possibly controversial in some eyes.
It was designed to undermine the strength of the Viet Cong in the north?
To destroy the infrastructure of the Viet Cong in South Vietnam. And to do that, sometimes you had to make incursions into other areas, North Vietnam, for example.
Mitch, as you suggest, is an expert on clandestine operations. He's an expert on weapons, particularly on special types of weapons, silencers and so forth. He has the respect of a lot of the ex-Special Forces people that have either worked with him in these operations or know of him and know that he has these connections. And he has an ability to bring all of this together when it is needed.
General Rebel was well known to all people as having been a very successful OSS agent in World War II. And he and General John Singlaub were fellow young officers and did in fact jump behind Japanese lines throughout the theater, the Chinese, India and Burma theater of World War II. It is my opinion that General Rebel was able to continue his exploits around the world, and especially during the time that he and I were together in the approximately 1 year together in Southeast Asia. It is my opinion that General Rebel enjoyed the rank of a Major General. I know for a fact that his ID card gave an equivalent rank of Major General, and without question he had the full approval, in my opinion, of the highest echelons of our government. And we must remember that all his old buddies in the OSS were now at the very top of the CIA, and Mitch Rebel knew personal anecdotes about all of the very top, the real hardcore members of the OSS who went on to become hardcore members of the CIA. Really good people. And Mitch Rebel operated, without question, with their approval. And I've been to various countries with Mitch Rebel in Southeast Asia during that year when he'd yank me out and I'd go on these missions with him. And I know that he was received, without question, with elements of the CIA present everywhere. And he was given the highest honors and treated as a visiting prince would be treated. He was the #1 man in all our meetings. We always brought in whatever we wanted to bring in weaponry and munition. No one ever said a word. Nobody ever took issue with anything that General Rebel did or said.
I would say that in every place where Mitch has operated, it's either been as a contract employee or with the knowledge of the local CIA, even if they couldn't officially support it.
In my opinion, he was operating, assisting the CIA in our attempts to put down the communist insurrection in Southeast Asia. I might add, he was one of the few effective forces that really called a spade, and he was out there to do the job. And perhaps if we had followed his advice to include using some of the weapons and other munitions that he could have gotten for the American forces and other forces, today I feel that if we had fought the battle he wanted to fight, Vietnam would be a free country today, and there wouldn't be the continuing communist menace in Southeast Asia.